Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. I know it's been a good while since I last uploaded again, but currently on my final week of classes, and then next week I have finals, and then after that, finally gonna be done, and I'm gonna be nearing my senior year of college, and I can't believe 3 years is almost up. Again, thank you guys for all that support on my channel here. I just started a month ago, maybe a little over that, and you know, you guys have got me all the way up to 352 subscribers. I remember the last video I was asking for 200 by the end of the year, and you guys have already got me to 352, which is insane. But yeah, let's get right into the video. So this video we're going to be talking about anti-debugging. Anti-debugging is basically a virtual security guard for your software. It's essentially a set of tactics and tricks that developers will use to make sure hackers or reverse engineers like us have a hard time to analyze the code or manipulate the program while it's running. So one way to think about it is a game of cat and mouse between the developers and us as reverse engineers looking for vulnerabilities. These anti-debugging measures will make it very challenging for hackers or reverse engineers like us to use debugging tools to understand how the program works. A few of these debugging techniques will be detecting the presence of debugging tools. They might add deceptive code that makes it hard for us to analyze it and figure out what the program is actually doing, or they will just create obstacles that force us to spend a lot more time to try to break through their defenses. Before we do jump right into the program we're going to be cracking today, I do want to mention this one website right here. It's called anti-debug.checkpoint.com. It does have a lot of anti-debug tricks. It tells you how a bunch of these different methods work, and I would recommend giving it a read. It's very good. Alright guys, so the program we're going to be reversing today is this program called week14.bin. This is a Linux file, so if I go into here and I run the file command on it, we should be able to see here it's an ELF 32-bit, so it's a 32-bit Linux file. And let's go ahead and run this program and see what happens. So if I do /week14.bin, it basically just asks me to enter a password. I'm going to type in a random password and it will tell me wrong password. Alright, so in order to open up this file in IDA, since we're going to be using IDA, we're going to type in IDA /week14.bin. And press on OK when this pops up. Press on OK, OK. Just get us all the way into the disassembled code. And I'm going to look for main function inside of my functions menu here. There it is, and it turns out we're already there. So let's actually examine this code here. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. Let's start off by looking up here. One thing I do notice right away is this call ptrace function. It basically allows the program to observe and control the execution of another process. So whenever we run this program, week14.bin, it checks to see if it's being run in a debugger. So it's able to use ptrace to check if it's being run in a debugger, and if it's being run in a debugger, it will do certain actions from there. So in this case here, it looks like we have a test EAX with EAX, and we have a JNS. I'm assuming that means that this JNS here, so it says jump to, goes to this 804.8436, which is in here. Whenever I look in here, this is actually asking me to enter the password. So we know this is where we want to go. But then we see this other arrow over here that will go all the way down to down here. So I'm assuming that is what is happening currently. The program is running and it's going all the way down into here, where it just, you know, exits out. It doesn't even try to find a password over here, and it just says wrong password. So we need to be able to change the program to go into here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go down to this JNS. I'm now going to go ahead and set a breakpoint right here. And another location I do want to set a breakpoint at is probably going to be down here, because there's actually some stuff over here. So let's analyze down here. So jump to EAX, and then we analyze over here. I'm noticing a bunch of comparisons and the jump not zeros. Comparison, jump not zeros, compare, jump not zero again. And where is this jump not zero going to? Okay, so let's say going to wrong password. So this is interesting, because then this would mean that something's going on in here that is checking the password. So we do want to actually get into here eventually. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run the program now, so that way we can change this right here, so we can go into here. So I'm going to press on this green arrow up here, and press on yes, press on OK, and we've hit our first breakpoint. We've hit our first breakpoint at this JNS. Remember, we are currently, as you see by this flashing arrow, we're currently going this way, but we actually want to go into here. So how we're going to do that is we're going to click on here. I'm going to press on edit, I'm going to press on patch program, I'm going to press on assemble. This menu will pop up, and I'm going to go ahead and change this instruction to a simple jump, so JMP. Press on OK, press on cancel here, and as you can see now, the arrow that was going down here is no longer there, and we have this new arrow right here that's going into this section to input password. Now if I hit run, and let's go back to the program, and let's see this one, it's now going to ask me to enter a password. The program is now in here. At this point in, it asks me for enter a password. I'm going to enter AAAA, press on enter, and we've hit the breakpoint down here, which is perfect. That is exactly what we were looking for. If I ran the program normally without changing this instruction, it would have ran the code down here, and it would have closed out of this debugging session. And let me actually show you guys that. I should have showed you that before I change anything. Here it is. So let's say we kept it as JNS, and let's go back to the okay, we have to actually run it real quick. Boom, as you guys can see right there, it says here debugger process has exited, and it says here debugger detected exit. So that's why we actually want to change that instruction there, so, or this instruction here. So how we're going to do that is, again, go back, run, click here, edit, patch, assemble, change this to a JMP, just make sure I don't mess that up, JMP, press on OK, press on cancel, and now we're in here. Make sure this breakpoint is also set, and I'm going to hit run again. And now it's going to ask for a password. I'm going to press an AAAA, press on enter, and we've hit this breakpoint. Now let's go over here, since I remember when we checked there last time, this is doing something with the password. So let's hover over here, 24. Okay, so it looks like this here is characters in our password. DL is here. So what it's looking like to me is that, let's see, this is taking, looks like this is taking each character in our password input and comparing it against another character. So DL is probably storing a character in our password, and then AL should be the correct password. So right now it says 98 and 44, but we look up here, it does get moved into DL, so we're not at that point yet, so nothing got moved in yet, and the memory address at EAX is moving into AL. So let's go ahead and set a breakpoint right here, so that way we can run the program and we can actually examine what's in those two registers. So I'm gonna hit run. We've hit this breakpoint, and let's look at DL. DL is 41 and AL is what, 65. So let's go to a hex to ASCII converter. And let's look at DL real quick. 41. Let's put in 41. Convert, that is A. So remember, our first input was A, and again A, and let's look at AL real quick, which is 65. 65, I'm pressed on there, and we have E. Let's keep track of that real quick. Now we see this J and Z is actually flashing, and it's telling us that we're going to this wrong password. So let's patch this. Let's go ahead and press here. Press edit, patch program assemble, and I'm actually going to switch to a JZ instead of a jump not 0. If it's a jump not 0, it's going to go that way, but we want a JZ so it can go into here instead. So we're actually going to also set another breakpoint down here. The reason I do that is if I were to run this program, it was just going to continue through with all of this and just go to the wrong password. So let's go ahead and run it. I know it's still blinking over there, but it should be fine. Yep, there you go. When we do that, let's go ahead and compare what's in DL. DL again is 41, and again 41 should be A. Yep, A, that's our second character. As you can see, it's being loaded in there. And let's look at AL. AL is 61. What is 61? 61 is lowercase a. Let's put that in there. Go ahead and patch this again. Change this to a JZ. Press OK. Cancel. Now we're going in here. Another breakpoint. And let's go ahead and run. DL again is 41, uppercase A. This is being loaded in. And we got 73 for AL. Let's check 73. 73. Convert. We have an S. A lowercase s. And we have one final check here. So let's go ahead and set our breakpoint there. And let's go ahead and edit our instruction here. Do a quick JZ. Press on cancel. And we're in here now. We're gonna hit run. DL again is our last A. And we have 79. Let's go ahead and put that in. Oops. 79. Enter. And we have a Y. So it looks like our password is easy. Okay. Just for fun, let's go ahead and just edit this to a JZ. I guess this is technically one way of stepping through the program, but this should hopefully get us to the good password over here. Let's go ahead and run it, and good password. Of course, that's not the password, but that was one way of getting there. Now let's actually try that new password we got. .bin, and we said easy. Yeah, let's press enter. There we go, guys. This is a good password. That means we successfully extracted the password from the program. So guys, that's pretty much all it is. So this is why it's very important to understand how assembly works. This program that we looked at here uses ptrace to detect debugging. Other programs will use different methods. I'm actually thinking about creating a Discord server, so please do let me know in the comments if I should do that, and if you guys are willing to join. Basically, what I'm going to do is help you guys out in there. You know, if you have any questions or any help that's needed for any of this stuff, I'll be able to help you guys out there. Some people were asking me to crack legitimate software. Unfortunately, I can't do that. That is illegal, but I am willing to help you crack programs like this that are meant to be cracked. That's pretty much all I've got. Please guys subscribe, like, do all that good stuff, and I will see you all in the next video.